All right, y'all. We're here for One Piece chapter 1106, and before I get into some of the super chats from the amazing members of the community, I do have a little bit of somber news for you guys. I did get spoiled on the chapter, a little bit at least. Probably the biggest thing that I know that a lot of you guys are probably excited about, and I did see a couple thumbnails, which that's normal, but I got tagged on Twitter a few times. I got a lot of comments, and by virtue of where the comments were, it was hard to avoid it. So we're gonna try keeping the energy up, but just thought you guys should know that there is an element of this I've already seen. So I am gonna go back and ban all the people who tried spoiling me, but basically, with the way the comments work on YouTube, like if there is a comment I want to see, because like I can see like the first couple, it's like on a video that I want to respond to, whatever it is. If there is one I want to see, by virtue of trying to find that, it showed me some other ones, like from the community posts I posted and like the last reaction and stuff. And people were just outright spoiling me, and I saw one. So I mean, I guess it's partially on me for even trying to respond to somebody. But on the other hand, I don't think it's a lot to ask for people to not leave spoiler comments when I haven't reacted, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's disappointing. That's all I got to say, is it's disappointing. So I'm sorry to anyone who is here for agenda purposes like mine or yours, or to see me be wrong or you be right or whatever. I'm aware, I guess, is all I'm saying. You guys, not you specifically here. I'm sure a lot of you guys here, most of you don't try to spoil me, but, I don't know. I don't think there's a need to tell me until it's happened. Like that doesn't make a lot of sense. So like I said, we're gonna try keeping it positive though. That's what it's about, because we still have a lot of peak. I know there's a lot of good stuff in this chapter that I don't know about, so we're gonna get excited about that. And whether I'm wrong or right, it's always good, because I like One Piece no matter what, and I always have a good time. But the one thing that does ruin it is when I know things before they happen. So disappointing, but it is what it is. Real quick, I want to give a major shout out to Shiny Charizard, one of the goats of the community. Being a member for 7 months, said like the stream. Yes, guys, please like the stream if you guys would not mind. Vex with the 5 gifted memberships. My guys, Sexy Vexy, as always, with the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, bro. And plugging all the links. Everyone, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you haven't checked out Vex in the last arc, I don't know what you're doing. You're behind. Go check him out. I mean, he's Vex, the lurking legend, for a reason, right? He's not going to be lurking forever. It's going to be just a full-on legend. So definitely check him out. Birch celebrated being a member for 5 months. Go to chapter, like the stream. Thank you, Birch. I appreciate you, everyone. If you would like the stream, that would be amazing. Definitely helps with the algorithm. 3 Days said W chapter, love you, Dak. Everyone like Spike. Yes. Hey. Listen to the people. I don't need to tell you. Listen to them. They're telling you. Like the stream. 3 Day, one of the all-time goats, easily the community. One of my day one online One Piece friends, I guess is how to put it. I don't know. Whenever I join Par's Discord, you're the first one I talk to. So I'll never forget that. Appreciate you. Lonely Mage with the $20 super chat. Sorry you guys can see the ring light. I just gotta move this window. Hey, Dak, got my reaction at 4 p.m. Everyone, to go check out Lonely Mage at 4 p.m. EST, so 2 hours from now, a little bit less. I, too, got spoiled by the big reveal. He may tweet on the spoilers on the top of my Twitter feed. I'm gonna... Oh, I can heart it now in the chat. Well, no shade. Not specifically shade to Hime, because Hime didn't spoil me, but yeah, with the Twitter feed thing, that's another way that I got, like, partially spoiled. Like, I have, like, a lot of pieces. I know basically what's happened, and part of it was when I open Twitter, and I don't know if it does this for everyone or if it's just me because I don't use Twitter a lot, but whenever I open it, if I'm tagged in something, I usually see it first, or, like, it'll try showing me that on the top of my timeline even. And that was one part how I got spoiled, and that's, like, I'm trying to just go answer a DM, and it's so... I know everyone's hyped. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad, but it's unfortunate that a lot of people are getting spoiled. And that's the downside to spoilers is you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with reading spoilers. I used to do it. I stopped at chapter 1000, and I'm never gonna go back. Not because I think it's wrong. I just liked reading the chapter. But the disadvantage there is, you know, if you read spoilers, we can't spoil you, right? Like you're trying to get the information as soon as possible. But if you read spoilers, there is a time period where you have information that vast majority of the community does not have and does not want to know, and it's kind of on you to be responsible with it. So that's really all of my advice to spoiler readers. You know, if you guys enjoy it how you want to enjoy it, but don't ruin how we do it. So Lonely Mage, I'm sorry you got spoiled too, man. It's everyone's hyped. But I appreciate you nonetheless, man. Everyone, go check out Lonely Mage. Seriously, one of the all-time goats of this community for sure. Law Sauce McGee, yet another goat of the community. Frick Spoil Cells, also like the stream. Law Sauce, thank you so much, bro. Yeah, we don't need them. You know, it's nobody wants to get spoiled. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be wrong about every theory as long as I don't get spoiled. You know, like that's the whole thing. Like I would rather not see the like with Luffy, when Luffy was in Sabaody, like, no, Rayleigh, don't tell me. There's no adventure. It's the same thing. So, you know, I don't want to know the answers until I need to. Kush Daddy said, sorry you got spoiled, but Creed or Nickelback? Oh man, you're not making this easy. Okay, I'm gonna go Creed, and I had to double check something to make sure I wasn't misremembering. The reason I'm going Creed, well, obviously because Nickelback. I'm gonna get flamed if I say Nickelback, but Creed, Creed. I know it's a different Creed, but Creed was my favorite character in The Office, by far my favorite character in The Office. So funny, like such a weird dude. So I'm gonna go Creed. Appreciate you, Kush Daddy. Thank you. Let's see here. Mana. Oh my. Mana, what do I even say? I'm like, now I'm emotional in a different way. You know, that means a lot, man. Seriously, that's amazing. Well, you know what we're gonna do? Well, I can't. Wrong one. Well, Mana, I don't even know what to say. Thank you. That the generosity is obscene. Are you Feld? Am I Mads? You know, do I need to start building things? I'm trying to give you guys some memberships. Okay, there. I was like, nothing close. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do that because I'm gonna forget. I was trying to figure that out this entire time. Mana Crow, thank you. That seriously, that means a lot. That I seriously don't even know what to say. That's amazing of you. Made my day. You know, it won't necessarily take back getting spoiled, but it definitely helps, Mana. That's you know, it's like getting spoiled is kind of the bad side of the community, but this is like the super amazing. I mean, any donation is, you know, gonna be welcome, but the fact that you did that, you know, that's just amazing. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Good vibes with the $5, or I think, right? Don't spoil other. Don't spoil others, I think is what you're getting at. Good vibes. I appreciate you. Just vibe. The streams are always goated. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. That's exactly it right there. There's gonna be a lot of positive stuff in this chapter. I know it's positive, or it's a hype chapter. Sorry. So I'm excited. Even despite knowing, you know, one of the most important parts. So. Lord Vegeta with the $5. I haven't read the chapter yet, so I'll be reading along with you. Like the stream, or I'll destroy your planet. W Mana, by the way. Another all-time go to the community, Ragnar. I actually have a theory that'll be coming out in I don't want to give a timeline, a month maybe. That Vegeta has co-signed here, so I'm looking forward to that. He'll be mentioned in that video. I appreciate you, man. And that's hype that you're reading along with me. That's why I haven't said what the spoiler is yet, because I know some of you may not have, but if you've read it, you probably do know what it is. Well, okay, we're caught up, I think. Everyone. Oh, also, hey, Chinho Wong, I saw you got a membership from the memberships I got from YouTube. YouTube gave me those for free, by the way. I didn't pay for those. And Chinho Wong, I saw you got one. I'm just happy you're here, man. You're a day one. I just saw your name. I just wanted to shout you out. Glad you're here, man. Also, Killer Comedy. The Cavs almost lost to the Pistons last night. I was terrified. Just because only because I knew what everyone would be talking about, you know. And they'd be like, "Oh, Darius Garland's first game back. They lost to the Pistons. Trade him." Like I was good. So did not want that. But all right. Oh, also One Piece and Chill. I see you're here. One Piece and Chill. You need to DM me the restaurant you work at. That probably sounds so weird to anyone who doesn't know the context, but I do need to. I need that ASAP. But all right, guys, we're gonna get into the chapter now. The mood has shifted. Still a little somber because, you know... Oh, you guys can't see the chapter yet. Give me 1 second to fix that. Oh, cool. All right. That worked. That was easier than I thought. All right, guys. One Piece chapter 1106. So, yeah, One Piece chapter 1106, and for those who watch the VOD and skip right to this part, right to where I start, and you didn't hear the intro, I did get spoiled, so FYI for anyone, you know, who's skipping through. All right. Chapter 1106, On Your Side. Let me fix one more thing on Streamlabs before I... Okay, there we go. Alrighty. Alrighty, so I did see part of this cover page before I started the stream, and I thought it was hilarious that that we have the alligator with Lacoste on the front, and like Lacoste, like the clothing brand that has like an alligator as the logo or whatever. You know what I mean? That's like a, I don't even know, that's like a abruptly real world connection. You know what I mean? Like that is like not that Oda should be worried, but like if I were drawing this, I would almost be worried about like copyright to some degree. Not that they're gonna care, but I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like you're real close to like the real thing there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just interesting to me. Very cool. Maybe it's a sponsorship. You know, maybe Oda. The request is from Lacoste. Like they paid for it. You know, maybe. Not really, but that would be funny. All right, get into the chapter. They're really going at it. It's just like the newspaper said. Is the approaching ship friend or foe? Well, I mean, guaranteed. At least against the government. But, all right. Whoa. All right. What the? He already digested all that food? He may gobble us up if we get any closer. Is he even human? Hey, look out. Not good. We're surrounded by flames. We can't stay on the island much longer. So we see Luffy going back into Gear 5th after eating the food, which is what we all expected, but it's cool it's happening like right away. We can't stay on the island much longer. Pull it together. Don't worry about him being an emperor. Let's get him in the sea stone cuffs on the count of 3. 3, 2... Get on the ships. Egghead is done for. So, I guess... I mean, I'm assuming he got up and, like, you know, started beating him up or whatever, but the explosion part is, like, they're all flying up in the air. I'm not sure if I exactly understand the, what happened, like, because there's just the explosion. It doesn't matter. Get on the ships. Egghead is done for. Keep blasting into the inferno. Don't stop. Kuma, Bonnie. Okay, so here we're back at that, the real cliffhanger of the last chapter, like the Kuma thing, you know, the moment, that kind of hype moment we were, the climax, I guess, of sorts we're trying to wait for. Atlas, come in. Shoot down this pathetic family. It's got all the Mark IIIs. This is like almost this... Is this a copy-paste of last week's panel? It looks almost the exact same, except I think you can see Sanji. Atlas, let Bonnie know. Understood, Stella. So what's the thing that Vegapunk wants Bonnie to know? Okay. Bro, okay. Oda. Oda. Okay, Oda better give us this answer this chapter. Like, this little secret talk. Oh man, Odo, come on now. I need to know what this is. Oda. Okay, well, I'm just gonna keep reading. It's got to be something important. That's weird. All right, Daddy, please don't shoot. Help us escape alive instead. Did you hear her shout just now? I can't hear a thing over these explosions. What? Why are they aiming at us? Yo! Oh my god, it's the same thing as S-Snake. It's the same thing. The lineage factor element or whatever. Oh, Oda, Cook. My guy, Cook. Perfect. Oh, love it. Major W. This is great. Oh, man. See, I didn't know this happened. This is why One Piece is goated, even though I know something's going to happen later. I didn't know this. I love this. I was talking about this. I feel vindicated. I mean, we probably all knew it was going to happen, but I'm sure they're going to... Vegapunk... So this thing that Vegapunk... Maybe they say it in a second, so I'll just... maybe we'll find out. But this Vegapunk thing where he's like, Atlas come in and like they whispered something to Bonnie, I bet you Vegapunk thought of that because of the S-Snake thing. And I hope we see it. But that... Beautiful. All about that. Bonnie, there's one thing that keeps me up at night. The image of you being killed by your dear father. And Kuma, the idea your precious daughter dying by your hands, I couldn't stomach such a tragedy. That is the reason I made sure that each and every clone sharing your appearance would be programmed to obey her. So Vegapunk lied. So he didn't do what he said he was going to do. Bonnie, they will prioritize your orders above all else, even commands from the world's overseers. It doesn't matter if the entire planet is against you. And so now here's my other question. We saw the authority chip, like, separated. You know what I'm saying? Like how did Kizaru override Sentomaru's commands when he just had the authority chip in his hand? Because the only reason I bring that up is it's like, why? I guess what I'm getting at is, like, does Kizaru have a stake in this that we also don't? Like, does Vegapunk have a lot of people programmed that he didn't say, that he lied about? Hold on. So I'm going to say this again, even though, like, I'm in the middle of the chapter. If you guys try typing stuff in the chat to, like, spoil, I'm just going to ban you. So I just banned one person. So I'm just letting you guys know. Don't do that. I've already been spoiled on something. Like, don't do, it's not that hard, It's really not. Like, wait till the moment happens to say it, you know what I mean? Which, like, I think everyone does that, so it's a problem if you don't do that. Bonnie, they'll prioritize your orders above all else, even commands from the world's overseers. It doesn't matter if the entire planet is against you. Kuma will always be on your side. It was the one selfish liberty I took. And I knew this, oh my god, this secret would have consequences. Yo. Well, one thing I want to bring up just before I get into that crazy Vegapunk panel, which that's my guy. I love Vegapunk, but so the thing I'm confused about is there's no way Vegapunk's just thinking about this, not actually talking to Bonnie, right? So what is the thing Atlas told Bonnie that made this work? Seems a little weird. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. This thing here with Vegapunk, though, my dude getting stabbed like that. Oh, man. A betrayal of this magnitude would be met with no mercy. That's so painful to see, man. That is, like... Because Saturn's been trying to stab people this whole time. Like, I mean, he has success. Like, he did stab Kuma, but, like, it didn't... he was still moving or whatever. This, man. Oh, man. Damn it, Vegapunk, Kizaru, eliminate them and be quick about it. So we see lasers coming through, hitting Kuma, still protecting Bonnie. I'll make sure to get you both in one slash, so you can be together. It won't hurt a bit, Bonnie. Kizaru. The Kizaru, trader stocks. This is, I mean, I guess the fact he didn't do it, because like, if you're Lightspeed, I mean, I don't know. If he's probably fast enough, you would imagine, to just get it done. We see Luffy coming in with a no-named attack, but punches him, hockey fist. All right. So Luffy's laughing. Was that Straw Hat? After that snack, I'm at full power. Let's have some fun. Whoa, is everyone okay? Is it me or is the island shaking? Who cares about that now? Somebody stop the pacifista. Vegapunk, we've got to go. We'll die if we stay here. Oh, we got the ancient robot waking up. Probably because Luffy's back in Gear 5th, I would imagine. Although, it's weird that we saw it turn on last time Luffy went to Gear 5th, and then it didn't move. And now he went into Gear 5th again, and now we see it moving a little bit. It's like, why... Luffy was in Gear 5th for a little while fighting Kizaru. Why didn't it get up and move, and why would it now? And I'm sure Oda will hopefully have a reason, but it's weird that we're kind of we're redoing it. It's like, why didn't it get up last time? It's in the same spot. That rhythm. Nika, that's right. I've always looked up to him. They say Nika would come along laughing to this rhythm. And we see Luffy pretty much in the Nika pose, a little bit different. The legs a little straightened out, but I knew it. You haven't connected the dots yet, have you, Bonnie? It was like that with me too. I had to see it with my own eyes. Straw Hat Luffy, the young boy who caught Kuma's eye, is Sun God Nika. That's pretty hype. That's pretty hype. So I know I've already saw a little bit of what happens at the bottom, so I already kind of knew that. But I will say this is also something I got spoiled on. So I was spoiled on a lot of the cool parts. So it's very cool. I didn't know the context in which it happened, but I knew the panel, so a little unfortunate. But Kuma was right. A buster call is a tame problem for him. People all over the world have been awaiting for his arrival for hundreds of years. That's pretty peak. That's pretty cool. The northeast coast of Egghead. This is the northeastern unit. Come in. We've made contact with an insanely big ship. Thought they died 100 years ago, but there's no doubt it's them. Why aren't they stopping? What the heck are they even doing here? We're gonna crash. And this is what I knew already. They're coming right for us. Fire, damn it. Why are you giants here? They're actually asking why, Dory. Don't they know some things in the world can't be stopped? Gaba baba, we've come to pick up Straw Hat. It's an emergency. The giant pirates are here. Or should we call him the Sun God? I don't have a lot to say because this is what I got spoiled on. So it's like, I wanted it to be Dragon, so I'm wrong. But this is peak. There's a lot to say, but it's hard for me to be excited about it right now. Zachary said you don't read the spoilers when they release. Do you think a reaction is a it's not a read through. It's a live react. It's the first time I'm seeing it. So to anyone here who may not know that, don't spoil me. Don't put in the comments what's happening in a chapter. It's pretty easy to check if I've read it because you can check the live section or the community posts. There were quite a few comments, so I didn't think I'd have to say it, but there were so many. Maybe I do. I'm gonna get to a couple super chats real quick. And again, sorry to everyone that I may not have been as animated or I'm not as excited about some parts of this. as I could be. It's just you know, when I saw over 24 hours ago, this is the reveal. It's just, it's, you know, it's almost like I don't even care that I'm wrong. I just almost don't even want to think about it because it's just been poisoning my mind. But Sam Fisher said each and every clone sharing Kuma's appearance would be programmed to obey Bonnie, which means S-Bear 2, barring official translation. So this is something I brought up on Monday also with S-Bear, and I'm glad you brought it up, Sam Fisher. So whenever Cypherpole came to Egghead, like CP0 specifically with Lucci, they talked about S-Bear being like a troubled child, like not listening. It's like the idea, like S-Bear was causing issues, and that's why they're bringing him back to Egghead. He's like a troubled child, or some ways how they put it. And so talking about this Bonnie thing, and what I was saying earlier with like, I don't really like, I get that Vegapunk lied and put Bonnie at the top. That's like, you know, I don't think a lot of, it seemed like Vegapunk was listening to everything, so I don't think a lot of us really expected that. But I mean, that is pretty cool. It makes sense. But the S-Bear thing you're bringing up, and like how I brought up the Kizaru authority chip thing, how like Kizaru got the authority chip from Sentomaru and was like, hey, the guy who gave you commands is down. Here's new commands. Which that's like, you know, it's just weird, I guess. It's like, it doesn't make sense. So this S-Bear thing, tying back to what I said with like S-Snake, like obviously with the authority chip part specifically, with the, I guess what I'm saying is with the Mark IIIs, we know that's the case, but I wonder if the Seraphim have the same thing. S-Bear would make sense, but since we know S-Bear was acting up somewhere else beforehand, before they even got to Egghead, it's almost like, I don't even know how to think about it. It's like there's obviously something going on with the authority levels, even just beyond what we just learned. Like, there's a, like, what was S-Bear doing before they got to Egghead? I doubt S-Bear was with Bonnie, you know what I mean? S-Bear was probably doing something else. So I think you're probably right with what you're saying, and Bonnie can probably give commands to S-Bear, but it does seem they operate differently, since they do have more of like a, like, as S-Snake showed us, like, there's more of a lineage factor component to it, you know. So yeah, so I'm excited to see how that shakes out. That's going to be really cool. I like that Vegapunk like disobeyed. I'm glad he did that. Also, Barnacle Boy, I saw you said no way Vegapunk is done. I probably agree. The fact he's like not dead yet is like, I know it's only been one chapter, like he's probably bleeding out, but like he's still here talking. Like, he's the one who told us the Sun God Nika thing, so I'm probably with you that he's not gonna die. I think. Doron, member for 8 months, one of the goats of the community. Remember last week, the Little Garden inversion? So yeah, so Doron was bringing this up in our group chat, I guess, talking about how there's a lot of things in Little Garden that tie to Egghead, which, you know, there some things were, you know, some things I bought in more than others, but one of the biggest things I thought that I think a lot of you would like is, you know, Little Garden is the island of the past, right? That's why they had dinosaurs. They're like prehistoric, kind of. And then this is the island of the future. And then there was a bunch of other things, Doron, if you want to put them in the chat, I'm sure people would love to hear them. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but that was like the main thing for me. And so now tying this back together, we know Elbaf's the next island, and so there's like that cool connection too. But I guess I will say that's the one really weird thing about Dorian Brogy here is it feels really unnecessary. And I say that because we're going to Elbaf next, right? That's like we're already going there. And so, you know, I struggle. I see, I can get the connections with like O'Hara, and because the Giants went to O'Hara and got the books, and Saul and all that stuff. I get why that makes it deep, but from like a logistical standpoint, I feel like it's just kind of weird, you know, because it's just like we're gonna see them next time, so it's like it almost makes me worried that they're gonna die, I guess is what I'm getting at. Like, not that I think they actually will for sure, but I'm almost worried they will, because like we already met them once, obviously, so we were excited to see them again. We saw them in Elbaf, and so we're like, okay, cool, I can't wait to see them. But now we're seeing them here. And I struggle to think we're going to see them here and then also spend a lot of time with them also in Elbaf. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a little worried for them. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I would love for them to live and go back, and we go back to Elbaf and have a giant party, you know, but I'm a little worried. I'm going to be honest. Um, let's see here. Another. Oops. Okay, I thought I messed something up. Well, I did, but I fixed it. Let's see. Sam Fisher with the $5. I don't think anyone in the entire world guessed Dory and Brogy were the ones showing up to Egghead. So, Sam, it's funny. One of the ways I got spoiled was someone commented on my post, and if you're here, you know, I'm very disappointed. Someone commented on my post, and I was trying to respond to a different comment that was not a spoiler, and so I saw that one. And they were like, hey, I was right, because someone tried telling me that this was the case last week, and they were trying to, you know, talk themselves up for guessing it right. And I'm like, well, by doing so, you just spoiled me in the reveal. So, you know, it's just unnecessary. But so I guess what I'm saying, Sam Fisher, is someone did, and they were so pumped about it, they spoiled me in context. Sorry to keep bringing it up, but the segue was too perfect. So. Yeah, Sam, I do agree though. It's a surprising choice, and I like that because that's how Oda does it. I think I said this on Monday, but this is a direct quote from Randy Troy, and I totally agree with it. You know, I like it when I'm right, but I love it when I'm wrong, because Oda usually does something better than what I thought of, right? Like the things we think of are kind of like the easy answers, and I don't say that like it's a bad thing, but that, you know, we tend to just think of like, all right, someone's coming to Egghead, stuff's on fire. All right, like, you know, well, Blackbeard, we already know he's involved. That's an option. I was like, Dragon, we know he's already talking about, like, he's been involved in this arc, you know, in different ways throughout it, whatever. Like, he's going to come. Or people were saying the red-haired pirates, which is, like, pretty adjacent to Dory and Brogy, honestly. Like, they were just together, right? And so, like, there's a lot of easy answers. But then something like this, it's like, okay, that's peak, right? Like, Oda went a totally different direction. There's a lot more to it than we thought. All that kind of stuff. So I love that. But yeah, it's a very surprising guess. If I would have done a poll on this would have been one of the least picked things for sure. Shiny Charizard with the 5 gifted memberships, my guy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. One of the goats of the community, as always. Moog, you said, in percentage, how much is your disappointment from being spoiled from it not being Dragon? 99% from being spoiled, 1% from it not being Dragon. But I think I said we talked about this on Monday, I think, pretty directly. Like, you know, if I'm wrong all the time. I'm gonna be wrong more than I'm right. It's just that's how the game goes. You know, there's really no. If you get most of your theories right, you're either picking the easiest theories on the planet, or you're not making very many theories. You know what I'm saying? Like if you try to take a stab at every single mystery that Oda makes, you're gonna get most of them wrong, because Oda's a good storyteller, right? He doesn't telegraph things. So I never really care when I'm wrong. If I'm wrong about Pluton being a mole, I'll be pretty disappointed. But if Oda does something better, then I won't be that disappointed. But for that one specifically, it's hard to see something better. For this, Oda there was a million options, right? Like Neomads was one people were bringing up, Big Mom Pirates. There's like all those could have had fun spins on it, but this is like a very unlikely one, but one that I think fans like. So yeah. Caleb Brown, another GOAT, member for 8 months. Shanks sends the Giants to get Luffy. Meeting soon. Yeah, Caleb, I think that is exactly what's happening. Now, well, I'll add this. The caveat, though, is Shanks himself said he was leaving Elbaf. So I can see two angles. Yes, like I think Shanks did send Dory and Brogy over here to help Luffy and get him. But is it because Shanks wants to meet him, like in Elbaf, like meet him ASAP or whatever? I don't think it's necessarily that, because the end of Wano was like a couple days ago, right? Like they left Wano the day before or 2 days before, I think. And Shanks showed up like a day before that, right? So like within the last week, Shanks has had time. I'm pretty sure, yeah, because Luffy was awake. Yeah, so Shanks in the last like week or so has had a chance to see Luffy, and he didn't, right? And so now I would just be wondering, like, what has transpired in between there and now that would make him want to see Luffy? And maybe Oda does have something and we don't know, but that would be my one caveat. And since Shanks said that he was going to leave Elbaf, like he already should have left, I think is what he said. That kind of builds a mystery of like, well, Well, we know that Dorian Broggie left but went here, and Shanks said he was leaving, but if Shanks didn't come to Egghead, then he probably left for a different place, right? He's probably not... If he said he was leaving, he's probably not there. So, it's... I don't know where Shanks is, I guess is really the answer. And I think more so it could be the sun god thing, right? Because Dorian Broggie are coming in like, or should we call him the sun god? Well, how do they know that, right? They worship like a god of Elbaf and all that. Like, they know about gods and that kind of thing. And, Shanks probably knows about Nika and knows probably about the fruit's importance and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's more likely that Shanks told them about Luffy being the sun god or having the sun god's powers, or he, but one way or another, they know they're here because he's the sun god and stuff, and are trying to take him back to Elbaf. Not necessarily because Shanks is waiting, I guess. But if Shanks is there, that would be cool. I would just want to get some answers on why Shanks was like, I should have already left. I got held up, blah blah blah. Kush Daddy with the $10. Dorian Broggie going to give us a first-class ride straight to the man marked by flames. But also, you can see a spark when Kuma sees Gear 5th. Hope we see him actually get to talk about it. So, as for the Dorian Broggie giving a first-class ride straight to the man marked by flames, I very much doubt that part. Because I doubt they even, like... Honestly, the fact that they're here, I assume part of the reason you say that is because you think Saul was the man marked by flames, I would imagine. And honestly, the fact that the Giants showed up here kind of, to me, debunks almost Saul being the man marked by flames, or any Giant, because it's like they're probably going to be riding together. Like, could Saul be on his own ship, sailing it himself? I mean, maybe, but the fact that, like, the Giants are separated and we know, like, this Giant, like, these two Giants are here and whatever, I feel like Oda's not going to do that. But, I mean, Oda's doing what he wants at this point. So, like, I'm not going to rule it out. And then as for the Kuma Spark thing, I want to look at that. You're right. Yeah, you're right. He does. It's not quite the same, but I get a similar vibe from that Kuma panel to the Iron Giant panel on the other side, a little bit. It's not the exact same, but like their white eyes, and they both have like, little symbols to try to indicate like they're moving or something's happening to them. I wonder if there's a little parallel there, like Kuma and the Iron Giant are both going to react in a similar way in like Return. I don't know. That's a very interesting observation, Kush Daddy. I like that. Matt, you said, Dak, do you think Vegapunk is cooked? I really hope not. I think I said it a little bit earlier, but like the fact he's not dead already, like got stabbed through the chest, but then is having this long dialogue, it makes me feel like he's gonna be okay. But it would also, like, since Vegapunk lied, it would make sense for him to die because of that. Like, just from like a storytelling standpoint, there should be like a legitimately big punishment for lying. But if he gets stabbed and his lab blows up and he loses all of his stuff and he doesn't even have Punk records anymore with him, then maybe that's enough, then maybe we're good enough. But like, I'm just worried because since he disobeyed, it's like, all right, like that's, now it's like another level of he deserves to die from the government standpoint. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope he lives, though. I hope he lives. Sam Fisher with the $10. Now that Bonnie knows Luffy is Nika, I don't see her being a Straw Hat. The Straw Hats don't follow Luffy as a messiah. Before I finish, I want to say, Sam, you're cooking. All right, I already agree. You're cooking 100%. I'm 100% with you. I'm going to heart it right now before I even finish it because I know you're cooking. They don't follow Luffy as a messiah, but as his friends. Bonnie sees Nika as a religious figure. It's why, in my opinion, Barto wouldn't be a good Straw Hat. Totally agree. The Grand Fleet... Like, Barto is the ultimate example, but the Grand Fleet had a similar thing where they, like, worship Luffy, right? They almost, like, they think... Like, that's why they're, like, bowing down to him. That's why they want to join his fleet. They want to be a part of what he's doing. Like, it's not just because, like, they met serendipitously, one of my favorite words, and build an organic connection, and he saved them, and all that. Like, Bonnie skipped straight to the end game. Like, oh, he's the savior? He's God? Okay. So I agree with you. I do not think Bonnie's going to join, and for the same reason. That's not how crewmates usually join, but she will be an ally. Like, I think she's going to join the Revolutionaries. That's the most likely one. Could she still just go be her own pirate or something? That's also possible. But I think the Revs make the most sense because, like, while they may not talk about Nika and stuff specifically, I'm sure they're aware of it. I'm sure, you know, they're chasing a similar goal to probably what the Legend of Joy Boy is. Like, that's why, like, Dragon calls Robin the light of the revolution, right? Because her knowing the history and revealing that and everything is super important, and all that's directly tied to Joy Boy and Nika and all that. So I think it's just interesting. I think the Revs are a good point for her to join because she can basically keep, you know, live out the will she probably has now, like, you know, trying to liberate people or do what Nika would do. But she can't really do that while on the Straw Hats, because, like, they do that, but not because of Nika. They do that because it's just the right thing. But, and not that Bonnie's a bad person, but that the fact she's so aware of it, it would take away from the organicness. So yeah, I agree. And then good vibes with the $5. Also, Parvision. It looks like Parvision just joined with his chat. That's what it's telling me, at least. Is this a Par raid? I believe it is. That's what it's telling me. So major shout out to all the Parvision viewers. I know a lot of my viewers also watch Parvision, but if you're a Parvision exclusive, welcome to the Dax Hake reaction for 1106. Super hype chapter if you just joined. We're just in the middle of talking about it. I just finished, so no worries. You can talk about it all you want. I did get spoiled earlier, but now you can say what you want. I won't get spoiled now. So yeah, welcome everyone. Par, thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that. Okay, let me go back to where I was, because I got behind. See, I think it's good vibes. Yeah, good vibes with the $5. You said, now that the Giants are here, what do you think the robot's role is? So I'm still 100% on the train that the Iron Giant robot is to help the Sunny escape in place of what the Vega Force was going to do. Because their escape, they even talked about it last chapter, like, part of the escape plan's ruined because of the Vega Force. Like, that they were going to use the anti-grav to go a certain distance, then Kude burst from there, and then they'd be really far. But they can't do that because Kizaru kicked Luffy through the Vega Force and it broke. So I think that's what it's for. And I like that Oda's building this juxtaposition here between the Iron Giant and Kuma a little bit, because the Iron Giant can help everyone escape, like, logistically, like getting out the island, while Kuma can maybe kind of fight the government, or, like, you know, get in Saturn's way, or let the Iron Giant do his thing. Because I love Kuma. I would love to see Kuma survive, but, you know, the odds of him making it out of here seem pretty slim, especially fully conscious and everything. So I think what we're going to see is maybe Kuma will come back conscious and see Bonnie officially and see Nika and all that. I would love to see that happen, but I think whether he does or not, I think he's going to stick around to, like, hold off Kizaru and Saturn and stuff while the Iron Giant helps everyone escape. And I like just the juxtaposition, because if there was only one robot here, it'd be like, okay, we need one to escape and one to defend, sort of. You know, how's that going to work? Well, we have two now, right, with Kuma. So now could it be that Kuma's the one who helps them escape and the Iron Giant sticks behind and fights Saturn? Possible, because, I mean, Kuma does have the paw fruit. But I think the emotional appeal of Kuma being the one to stay behind is a bit stronger, so I think that's more likely. But, I mean, I'm all for Kuma living if Oda can write it in. Kush Daddy with the $5. Now that we've got every Straw Hat in a cover page, we'll get a cover story soon. That's a really good point. I didn't think about that, but you're right. What do you think it'll be? I'm hoping for Yamato's journey around Wano. That is a really good point. I didn't really think about that, Kush Daddy, but you're right. A lot of the cover requests have been, like, a specific Straw Hat, right? Was Rob... I didn't know we had every one, but you're right that it's definitely been, like, one Straw Hat focus at a time. And we're, like, 20 or 30 chapters removed from a legitimate cover story, I think, right? So we are due for one. As for which one it'll be... Yamato's journey around Wano sounds really fun, but the only issue with it is, by virtue of being in Wano, it wouldn't be anything, like, game-changing for the world, if that makes sense. Like, it wouldn't, that's usually what it is, right? We see something happening randomly elsewhere that, like, isn't directly tied to us. Because because I mean, I get, yeah, Yamato's a special case because like Yamato's like a pseudo crew member, like not a real one, but Yamato like does want to join and may very well do so eventually, so it's like a little bit different. But like usually the cover stories are for completely opposite, like random things, like Gedatsu's cover story, although we did have a Jinbei one, but that was well before he joined, obviously. So you know, it's possible. Like I said, it's just Jinbei, for his example, he brought a poneglyph to Big Mom. That was important context. We saw like these underwater ruins. For Yamato, it's like, what would we see? But the reason I like it regardless is that we might need to see a little bit of Yamato's journeys in Wano, right? Like, just because since Yamato said that like, Yamato said, you know, I'm going to live like Odin. I'm going to journey around Wano. And that's the reason why Yamato didn't join. So it might make sense that we see a little bit of those journeys just to fill that gap. But if it's not that, just to give an idea of what it could be. So we just had one about Blackbeard doing stuff, right? Like getting pudding primarily. And like that whole cake situation, which like, it mainly was about Blackbeard, but it also like showed us like the Neomad stuff too, right? Like, because like the like Katakuri got gassed out by by Caesar and stuff, right? Which is like kind of separate. So I'm trying to think of something like that where like, you know, the Blackbeard element is like a big part of that cover story, but we got to see a lot of other cool stuff. I think a cross guild cover story would hit really hard. Now the thing there is like the cross guild are very active right now, and we might want to see that like in the actual manga. But I think a cross guild related a cross guild related cover story that talks about pirates hunting marines. Like if we can see some cover story like examples of pirates trying to chase down certain marines or capturing certain marines and trying to get the bounty from cross guild, that would be really cool. That's what I want. That would be, because I think we need to see that a little more. All we've seen is T-Bone, so I'll say that. But there's a lot of good options. The cover stories are always good. Good vibes with the $2. Yo, WTF are the Blackbeard pirates up to? Well, I'm glad, for at least in some way, I'm glad that the Blackbeard pirates weren't the ones showing up, because we already know that their ship is there, right? So it would have just been an awkward thing of like, okay, why are we hyping up, you know, someone who we already know is involved, that kind of thing. And so tying it to that, I think they're being real low key. They're waiting around till the perfect time to act, and I don't know what that is, because like the island's getting blown up. So I think they want Punk Records, and I think they're also going to try to take York and some Seraphim and stuff like that. Like something in that realm of things is what they want. But a lot of those things could get damaged in the Buster Call, specifically Punk Records. York also, because York is just like pinned down right now. The Seraphim, you know, they might be kind of indestructible from regular cannon fire at this point. But regardless, if you want them, it might be time to hurry up before who knows what else happens, right? So what are they up to right now? I don't know what they're doing at this moment. I genuinely have no clue. They just got to be waiting. They got to be like in a back room just hiding. I know a lot of people have brought up that Katarina Devon is Robin right now, because Robin's like bandaged up and like hasn't done a whole lot since whatever happened overnight. But because Blackbeard Pirates also did start arriving before last night happened, like it was at the beginning of all that. But I think they're just waiting for a certain time, honestly. The only other thing I can think of is that they're trying to sneak onto the Marine ship that Saturn's body is on, because another idea that I know other people have talked about this too, is that like Saturn's body and the form we're seeing are separate, because like he summoned it from the ground or whatever. So maybe Katarina Devon's trying to go onto the ship and, I mean, maybe kill the real Saturn, or just copy his body so, you know, she can appear as Saturn. I'm not sure, man. That another reason why Oda's the GOAT. Like, there's so many options for Blackbeard, you know. Let's see. Sam Fisher with the $5. What do you think will be the next cover story? Wow, okay, well, we just talked about this. King searching for more Lunarians, Yamato's journey around Wano, Momo learning to be Shogun. That's so funny. Well, I just gave the cross guild example, but since you also super chatted, I'll try to think of another example. I don't want to just pick. I don't want to keep picking Yonko crews, because that's like too easy. You know what? Grand Fleet action. Because, like, remember the Barto cover story with, like, attacking Shanks' territory? Well, Shanks even mentioned at the end of Wano, like, hey, remember that guy, you know, desecrated our territory. We need to go teach him a lesson or whatever. I think it would be really, really cool if we could get, like, a finale of that. Or maybe, like, for instance, we see Barto at another Shanks territory, and Shanks is there, and it gives us an idea of where Shanks went to. Or it doesn't even have to be that specifically. It could be a different crew altogether. It could be a different altercation. Something that the Cross Guild is doing, I think, would be really cool. Now the issue there is that could be so game changing that it might have to be in the main story. But if Oda just showed us the pudding thing in a cover story, that's pretty important. Like, we saw pudding at Winter Island like right after that happened, so it's Oda's starting to make these things more important. So I could see a Grand Fleet one for sure. But Momo learning to be Shogun would also be cool. Like, Momo training or seeing his progress as a swordsman. That would be cool, too. Let's see. Vex. Oh, my guy, Vex. Sexy Vexy with the 5 gifted memberships. You already did it once this stream, my guy. You're the GOAT. Thank you. Everyone, if you have not checked out Vex, he's only the lurking legend for now. He's going to lose the lurking title eventually. Make sure you go check him out. And the last arc, obviously. They're a great group of people over there for sure. Okay, there we go. My everything glitched for a second. I knew there was more super chats. I did not want to lose them, but I think I found them. Vex, and then the next one I believe is Shiny Charizard. Yeah, okay, we're good. All right, we're caught up. If not all the way caught up, but I know where I'm at. If Bonnie parts ways, could the next cover story be Bonnie and Kuma traveling the world like she wanted to do on her 10th birthday now that they're reunited? Okay, well, forget everything I just said. If Kuma lives, that's what I want right there. At least, even if it's just like a 5 to 6 page cover story where they just go to a few places and are spending time together, fine. You know, whatever it's got to be, Oda, I'll take it. That's beautiful, Shiny Charizard. You know, the only issue is Kuma. I doubt he'll live, but if he does, that I want it. Because if Kuma does live, I really don't want Kuma, like, going right back out to war. Because he obviously he believes in Sun God Nika, and, you know, and he probably hates the government at this point. He was already with the revolutionaries. So, you know, I really don't want to see him, if he gets freed, I don't want to see him go right back into the, you know, to being a soldier of any kind. Yeah, I would like him to have, like, a vacation. Because he always asks people, where do you want to go on vacation to? Kuma, where do you want to go on vacation to, man? That's what I want to see. I want to see Oda answer that question, if he lives. Alejandro Solis, member for 3 months. The giant went from 65 million years to the future. Wait. The Giants went from Are you saying 65 million? Are you saying because Little Garden has dinosaurs and that's 65 million years ago? I think that's what you're saying. Or maybe I totally misunderstand, but I think that's what you're getting at. And yeah, you're right, because they went from Little Garden way in the past to the island of the future, and they're probably like, the hell is all this stuff? You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen anything like this. I just cook dinosaur meat. You know what I mean? We just fight all day. So yeah, that's such a cool connection. That's what makes this really cool. Well, there's a lot of reasons why this is cool. The Ohara connections, right? I think you guys all get that, but that's like the type of inversion there that just like a beautiful bookend kind of thing. Also, Little Garden is the first place we ever heard of Elbaf, and then Egghead is like our final destination before Elbaf, so I like that angle too. But like I was saying, I'm getting a little worried for Dorian Brogy. I gotta be honest. The fact they showed up here, and we already know we're going to Elbaf where we knew they were. It's just like, Oda, are they showing up to be like, to kind of, are they showing up to almost do what they did at Little Garden? Because remember, at Little Garden, they launched the Hakoku Sovereignty, I think is what it was, whatever their attack was, through the giant goldfish to get the Straw Hats out of there. And even like in the attack, they like sent the ship flying like through the goldfish or whatever, right? At least that's how the anime showed it from my memory, but maybe I'm wrong. But either way, they like helped them leave the island with their attack. So are they showing up here because they're doing the same thing? They're going to be sending them off to Elbaf, but they themselves don't get to escape. I mean, you know, I don't want them to die, but I'm worried. I'm a little worried. Just a little bit. Trevor, one of my goats, one of my thumbnail artists. You're gonna see quite a few from him coming up soon. One of the goats. I'm sore about half the arc. I'm sore about half the arc and Straw Hats fights getting off screen. So I'm disappointed. Dorian Brogy have to show up and rescue them and steal their thunder. Yeah, Trevor, that's a really good point. Yeah, so Trevor, I know Trevor has spoken to me quite a few times about how, and to some degree, I agree. That's a kind of a tongue twister, because a lot of the fights are getting off screen. Like, think about chapter 1089 when we got back to like present time, like after the night was over. We just saw the Straw Hats like victorious. Like, what did they do to do that? Like, what happened over the course of the night that got Robin bandaged up, that got them to tie up York, because to free Vegapunk, to free the Cypher. We never even saw that. And then the fights, like we've been told that Zoro versus Lucci is still happening multiple times, but we haven't even seen it, right? Oda's just like letting us know. So to a degree, I do know what Trevor's talking about. There has been quite a few things off screen that probably shouldn't be off screened, or at least should be fleshed out a little bit, even just a few panels to let us know. So I agree. And it is funny to bring that up. Like, now Dorian Brogy are here to save the day. It's like, okay, let us see what the Straw Hats are doing. So I do agree. And a lot of this arc has been away from Egghead, right? Like, we haven't even gotten to see the Straw Hats that active a lot of the time because we're dipping away to other things. We see Shanks first kid, the Hachinosu situation. We go to the Reverie, right? All these, and there's even other things. All those things are taking time away from the arcs. Now Oda's like speed running things a little bit, and yeah, I definitely get what you're coming from. I'm excited to see where Oda goes with this, and tying to what I was just saying, Trevor, I'm worried for Dorian Brogy, because like, if Oda just has them show up, save the Straw Hats, and leave, and everything's all all good, all hunky dory, then it's like, so are they just there's? It's kind of like how Shanks has shown up to save Luffy several times. Like, now the times when Oda's done it have been really good, I think. I mean, well, chapter 1's it was pretty good example, but like Marineford, super hype moment. Even the end of Wano, even though it's kind of film red marketing, was still pretty cool. But now with Dorian Brogy just being with Shanks, it kind of feels like they're getting saved again. So I'm worried that Dorian Brogy, like I said, that if they don't, for Oda to make this feel heavy, it's like they might have to, or maybe even one of them dies. I don't know. I feel bad even bringing it up because I love Dorian Brogy, but Friend Harper with the $5 super sticker that said, "Good job, Friend Harper. I appreciate you. One of the goats of the community. We haven't talked for a while, but I feel like I probably, you probably sent me something and I probably forgot to answer because I've been doing that a lot lately, and I apologize. But we need to talk soon because it's been a minute. Vex, the lurking legend, not lurking for long. $2 super chat. Look at 116. Now we're at 1106. Like the stream. I'm gonna do that right now. Maybe I should open it up over here. One Piece chapter 116 color. It's actually funny. I already can tell. I mean, I know this is in, just by context, I know this is Little Garden, but I already knew that was Little Garden because I've done the Elbaf video so many times that I've just dragged, like, the way I just name my files, like I'll put CH116 if it's from that, just so it's easier for me to find. And I remember doing the Elbaf video, it said CH116 like a million times in my file bin or whatever for the video, so I already knew where this was going. But that is crazy. It's pretty close. I wouldn't say it's quite Math Piece, because like that's a little bit more specific, but it's something like that, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Like, Oda just slipped a little 0 in there, in between the 1-1 and the 6. That's pretty dope. That's a good catch there, Vex. Is that like is that something people have been talking about online a lot? Or did you just think of that? Not that I'm trying to like take any thunder from you, but that feels like is that something everyone knew but me, I guess is what I'm getting at before this, or was that a novel find? Because that's impressive. Whoever found that out. Am I caught up now? I think I'm caught up. Y'all, thank you so much for the support. Okay, Time Lord, sorry, I saw your one from Twitch. I'm getting better at catching the Twitch ones, guys. I'm getting better. I'm improving. Lol Sauce McGee, you subscribed with the Prime sub over on Twitch an hour ago. I'm sorry I missed that, bro, but thank you so much. That's amazing of you. Also, Dilcor earlier. Yeah, I missed a couple earlier. Yep, it's over on Streamlabs, but I didn't have it on the chat because it got away. Now I see earlier. Good Killer Comedy and Dilcor. Did I miss? I think it was you two I missed earlier. Killer Comedy member for 8 months. I don't know if I said this or not. It was fine. Then you had to mention the Pistons. Killer, look, you've had a great sports season, my guy. Okay, that Michigan won the title. That's all I gotta say. Then Dilcor with the $7 Canadian super chat. Go Pistons. Hey man, they need all the support they can get. I don't know if I said those earlier or not, but I don't think I did. But because it was about the Pistons, I'm glad I brought it up anyway. And then see, I mentioned Lol Sauce with the Prime sub. Thank you, Lol Sauce. And let's see, Time Lord used 70 bits. One more than my 69-bit minimum that I put over on Twitch. Do you think there's any connection with Bonnie, Tama, and Shirahoshi being kids controlling armies? Yes, I like that a lot. Do you think this is foreshadowing that all the ancient weapons will be wielded by kids? Yes, probably. And does this mean the Vicky the Viking kid will have a much bigger role on Elbaf? Will he control Uranus if it's there, or perhaps a giant army? Well, let me bounce this idea off you, because I know a lot of people want Vivi to be Uranus. That's currently where my head's at, is because that just seems the most likely. Vivi's obviously has a lot of importance. When the Mother Flame stuff was talked about in the same breath as Vivi, and the only reason I bring that up is because I just know a lot of people are going to say that, and I probably agree. But let me bounce this idea off you, Time Lord. I do think the giant kid in Elbaf will be important. And somebody on Monday brought up a really good idea for what it was, or it was in the Discord maybe. What was it? Oh, somebody said that the giant kid, because he's going to be taller than Luffy, will look down at Luffy and ask Luffy to join the crew. Because, like, you know, it'll be a kid, but the kid will be taller than Luffy. And maybe that'll be the first kid that Luffy actually lets be like an apprentice of sorts, because by virtue of being a giant child, they're a bit safer than a typical child. Now, I'm not sure if that'll happen exactly. I think bringing another apprentice or something like that at this point might be kind of tough. But I thought that was cool. But anyway, going back to the Uranus part, Time Lord. So if it's not Vivi, just because again I know everyone's gonna think that, if it's not Vivi, what about Isa from Skypiea? Okay, whenever in all my Uranus videos, I've mentioned Vivi, but I always bring up a secondary option for Isa, because I think Isa has to be important. And if you guys don't remember Isa from Skypiea, it's like the little girl that like also had mantra that could sense things all over the island. And oh, you know what? I might have to just do an updated Uranus video on this. So the reason why that matters even more than I've ever previously mentioned is, so, you know, Enel could sense where everyone was on Skypiea. And also Skypiea, Sky Island, Uranus, that's an important sky related thing. That's another layer to this. But so Enel could detect everyone on the island, right? Could sense where everyone was with like his fruit plus his mantra, right? Well, Isa could do the same thing with just her mantra until she got eaten by the snake, and then she couldn't sense anything outside of the snake. Similarly, Enel could not sense anything inside the snake. That's why he thought Luffy died, because he couldn't sense him, but then Luffy came back, right? So there's that interesting connection. But here's the real kicker that has been like living in my mind rent free. If you go back to not the last episode, but 2 episodes ago in the anime, and they said this in the manga too, but I just didn't catch it until the anime showed it. They talk about how the aircon system in Egghead can detect every living creature on the island. And the aircon is literally a machine that controls the weather. And when people talk about Uranus, the god of the sky, controlling the weather is one of the first things people bring up. So the aircon, a weather controller, can detect everything on the island. Isa, a girl from the sky, can detect, a young girl from the sky, tying to what Time Lord was saying, like all these young kids can control things. Isa, a kid from the sky, can detect everything on their island. And so there's like a weird connection there, right? So I still would probably lean Vivi, but I think the Isa stocks are even higher than before. And like I'm like kind of 50-50 on it, but like Isa to me would go deeper. It's just then what does Vivi do? That's the only reason I don't go full on to the Isa idea. Is like what's Vivi's role then? Because I mean she's gonna have important stuff to do in the story, but it's like the ancient weapon tie-in or whatever seemed kind of strong, and like Vivi like shouted out and then it started raining, which like that wasn't necessarily Uranus. That was the dance powder and stuff or whatever, but there was that symbolism was really strong, I think. So Vivi, there's reasons why people think it's Vivi, but the Isa stuff, I don't know. I almost would like Isa to control Uranus and then Vivi to do something else that's even more hype. That would maybe be the coolest scenario. Chestnut, you said have fun with the rest of the stream. WDAC, Chestnut, have you reacted yet? Wait. Okay, popping in quick so I don't get spoiled, but I hope you're enjoying Dak. Well, yeah, please do. Chestnut, leave. Chestnut, you have to. If you don't leave now, I'm gonna make you leave because I do not want you to get spoiled. I got spoiled on the chapter. You're probably not listening anymore, so I'll just text you about it. But I did get spoiled, so don't do it. Don't do it. And for what it's worth, just to touch back on the spoiler thing one more time. I don't want to keep bringing it up, but I know most 99.9, 100% of you guys who watch me normally, I know wouldn't do it, and 99% of the One Piece community I know wouldn't do it. So I'm sorry if I seem negative today, but I had to bring it up. It was the first time I ever got spoiled reacting to chapters. At least, I've seen a thumbnail here or there, so I got an inkling of an idea, but I've never been outright told this is what happens, or you're wrong, it's this, or there's like 4 different versions of that kind of idea. So sorry if I seem negative, guys, but I try not to. But I know it's not you who do it. That's the whole time I'm like, man, I don't want to bring it up because I know no one there is going to be the spoiler people. But yeah, so Chestnut, I hope you're gone. Everyone, make sure you go check out Chestnut Tanuki. I mean, she's probably reacting tonight, I would imagine. So there's a reason right there to go check her out. But she also streams like 3 or 4 times a week with Hime, and they just did an anime ranking stream, which I won't talk about those final rankings. All right, if you were there, I'll just say that One Piece wasn't number 1. All right, so that and Gurren Lagann wasn't number 1 above One Piece, which like that has moles, so that would have been okay. But we won't talk about it. But you guys should go check them out anyway. They're great. If you were there in that stream, you know why we don't have to talk about it. Trevor, you said, if I read the chapter early, I usually message Dak cooking or avoid Twitter this week. Yeah, Trevor. So people like you guys are more than welcome to do that all you want. If you just want to say, Dak, it's so hype, don't read anything. Perfect. That's great. I like knowing I already know the chapters are hype because I enjoy almost any One Piece chapter that exists. Like maybe some are a little less good than others, but they're all good. And so regardless, if you want to emphasize that some are a little more hype and I need to beware, that's great. I actually prefer that. I like it when people do that. But then when you start and not that you do this, Trevor, or none of you here, honestly, nobody really does this specifically, but if you say it's hype and then you start adding little inklings of why it's hype, then it's okay. You got to stop. Like I don't want to know why. I just want to know it is. But I gotta be honest. Despite or wait, where? Oh, I thought I had the wrong window up. And despite me getting spoiled on the last page and a half, basically, of this chapter, it still was really good, guys. This is the type of chapter that in the anime is gonna be even better than it was here. Because like when you add in the music and you add in like when Vegapunk gets stabbed, imagine in the anime if like. I can't think of like the songs off the top of my head, but like imagine like they're playing like some real epic music, like some high, like I wouldn't say like happy music, but like we're in like a cool moment here with the Mark III's fighting back moment. You know what I mean? Like that's like a hype moment that the anime is going to deliver on, and like it'd be cool. But then in the anime to like hear that music stop and just shift over to Vegapunk's stab, like that's going to be a really like hard-hitting thematic kind of thing. and then in that moment of dread, it like will sit there for a little bit, and then it'll just, we'll go right over to Dorian Broggie. Well, it's not Dorian Broggie happens later. We see the Nika stuff, but just the way the anime is going to be able to put this together with like the music and like the scene setting, it's gonna be phenomenal. I'll probably enjoy that a lot because I'll be over the getting spoiled part by then, and then I'll be like, all right, I'm ready for the hype. Uh, Has a Dragon, you said, bro, the song I want is when Luffy awakened, his Conqueror's coding is perfection. Yeah, so honestly, a lot of the music that they've been making, in my opinion, for the anime, because they've been doing like a lot of remixes. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like, I don't know if this is the one you're talking about, Dragon. It's funny calling you Dragon when, like, I was hoping Dragon would be here, but but anyways, the one you're talking about, I'm not exactly sure, but I know there's a lot of songs from the rooftop that are like, they almost remix it or like cut the song in half and like merge them in a way. Like, I don't know how to really describe it, but there was a couple songs specifically during the awakening portion where I was like, this is like a different, like, I know the song, but it's like, this is a different tempo than I've heard it before, or this is like a little bit of a remix almost, and it's like a little bit different. And they've been cooking. Also, the intro song for the anime, that's my favorite opening in the anime of all time. So hold on one moment. One second, guys. Sorry, 1 second. So, Inso Fistikarad, just so you know, you spoiled me on the chapter. You're one of a few people, because you commented on my post saying I was right when I said it was the Giants. I want my $5 back. No, dude, you're not getting anything back for spoiling me on a chapter. This is one of the guys right here. So, you're getting hidden from the channel. I'm telling you that. I mean, congrats on getting something right, but you spoiled me doing it, and that is not okay. I'll be wrong a million times. Getting spoiled once is worse than that, I don't ruin how you enjoy One Piece. Don't ruin how I enjoy it. So, he's hidden, so you won't be able to see anything he ever says. So, FYI. I didn't even want to give him the limelight, but the fact he had the audacity to show up and brag about it, I had to bring it up. That's the main spoiler I got. That's the main one from him. There were a couple others, which, like, I had a couple inklings before that, and I was like, based off the other comments, I was like, it seems like they're trying to say it's Dorian, like the Giants, basically. And then that guy straight up said it, like, very clearly, and I was trying to respond to a different comment, because one of the common, you guys who watch all the time, I was like, oh, They said something nice. I'm gonna go and like heart it or respond. And then whenever I did, it showed me the one under it, and the first thing I see is it's the Giants, and I'm like, okay, well, Well, anyways, I didn't want to bring it up, but he showed up, so we're gonna not talk about it anymore. Dow, Goofy Jeffersons. Is that what we're calling them now? Everyone who gets hidden from the channel is a Jefferson. That, if you guys remember from last week, or. Was it it was Monday. It was Monday, right? You guys know. Oh, that's funny. Dow, that's really funny. You know what, Dow? You probably already deserved it, but Dow, you're getting upgraded to mod status for that one. That was funny. That was genuinely funny. Yeah, and and look, and I mean, it's just the guy's YouTube channel. Don't harass him. Don't, It's over and done with. Let's move past it. But that guy, he's hidden for a reason, so I don't get spoiled ever again. Welcome to the zone, AutoZone. I actually need to go to AutoZone, Vec. Not now. I'm not ending the stream now, but I do need to go to AutoZone. And if anyone is a car expert, I'm having trouble getting my headlight out of my Honda Civic 2017 EX. I took it to Valvoline. Well, I had to get an oil change, so I did take it there just for the headlight. But while I was there, they offered to change the headlight, and I was like, well, if you can get it out, go ahead. And they couldn't get it out. It's stuck. So if anyone has any advice for getting headlights out of a Honda Civic 2017 EX, because I know how to turn the car on and press the gas pedal and brake, You know, like I do not. Once I open the hood, I'm lost. You know. Birchie said, "Try a hammer." I've honestly been thinking about just getting a hammer and just destroying it and just hoping I don't break anything else because I can't get it out. It should just pop out. A lot of WD-40 and a hammer. TV in the attic says that sounds like a legitimate recommendation. Vex, Vex, just get a whole new car. Oh wait. Oh well, I gotta ask: is that just a joke, or are you trying to say that you don't like Hondas? Because if you don't like Hondas, I would look. We'll talk after the stream. All right. Because I'm a Honda evangelist. All right. I've only no, I have driven it. My first car wasn't a Honda, but after that, all I drive is Hondas. Trashman, he said, move to a country with good public transport. That is another option. That yeah, I would love to. What I would prefer to do, Trashman, is to convert my country into one with good public transport. Now that is much easier said than done, and may be impossible, especially in my lifetime. But that's my goal. My city has been trying to put more bike lanes in next to the road, so like you can ride your bike on the road safely. But literally, and this is super sad, RIP, because I genuinely feel bad because I know where this is, but a guy died riding his bike because a car just took a right turn yesterday and hit the guy while he was riding. It's like kind of close to my house. And so the bike lanes are BS. How did we get on this public infrastructure talk? And so that's also kind of made the mood somber because I used to run a Chipotle, fun little bit of info. I used to be a GM at a Chipotle for a while, and the intersection where the guy died riding his bike is right by my Chipotle. One of my employees is actually the guy who got me into One Piece, ironically. He also got hit near that intersection. Wasn't the same one, but in that area, he also got hit. He was okay and came to work the same day he got hit by a car, which is like, he did not have to, but he did. And he got me into One Piece, so that's just a cool little tidbit. But and so he got hit before too, so I know that intersection is dangerous, so that area. So I feel really bad. I guess going back to what we were talking about. Yeah, public transit would be a good thing. I wouldn't need to worry about my car anymore. Trevor, America is run by the Gorosei. You're not wrong. You're honestly not wrong. Muglaton, nothing happened. Dax coworker, literally. Cam, if you're watching, I doubt you are. He knows I have a channel. He's seen it before. Cam, if you're watching, you truly did do the nothing happened moment that day. That was it was pretty crazy for him to walk in. He was a little late. He's like, "Sorry, I'm late. I got hit by a car." I'm like, "What? Come again? What'd you say?" One Piece and Chill, you said Coda sucks. You know, I don't use it, but I did while I was in college, and it was annoying. Trevor, you said Morge's video about One Piece's dystopia is really good. That's my shout out. I did want to watch that. That's more. I love when Morge does. I love most of Morge's videos, but my favorite ones are ones like that are like it's not like a mystery we're trying to solve. It's not even like a random theory. It's not even like it's just an analysis, but it's like a very pertinent one, like one that I'm like, oh, people should have been talking about this already, or something like that. So I do want to watch that. I thought the thumbnail was really good with the puppeteering or whatever he was doing, right? Big fan of Morge. And you know, and going back to earlier with not to dive too much into the spoiler thing again, but you know, part of the reason why people were trying to spoil me, I don't think they did it I don't think they wanted to spoil me per se, but why they were trying to talk to me about it and saying it before I read it is because, you know, I thought it was Dragon and I was wrong, which I honestly have no problem being wrong. I still think Dragon's going to show up, by the way, but that's another discussion. And, you know, Morge, he has some of the most famous L's of all time, but he handled them with grace, to give him a lot of credit for that. I remember he did a video where it was like if by this chapter, it was like right after Luffy punched Kaido in the ground, he's like, if by this chapter you know, X, Y, and Z don't happen, I'll admit that the raid won't fail. And I was like, you know what, like that's awesome. That, you know, I mean, that, like, you gotta, if you want to be right, you're gonna have a chance of being wrong. It's like hitting on a girl. Like you might get rejected, but like you know, if you don't try, it's always a no, right? And so, I mean, that's just how it is. That's how it is. So I guess in the future, if I'm ever wrong about something, just wait till I read it, and then you can make fun of me all you want. You know, it's just it's not as fun beforehand. Not that any of you would. I don't even know why I need to say it. Ghost train of thought. Do you think it was Shanks or Harudin with a Weaver card that got the Giants to Egghead? Very good question, Ghost. Huh. And you know, and that was actually one of my issues with the Giants being an option, is that they shouldn't even know like the Egghead stuff is an issue or that Luffy's even there, but because of Shanks could just tell them, so I got that. But then as far as the traveling part, they do need like directions, because we saw that the log pose, like when you go to Egghead, the log pose loads to go to Elbaf. So if you're on Elbaf, it's going to load to point you to the next place, not go back to Egghead. So they either have an eternal pose for Egghead or they have a Weaver card. And I would say it would have to be Harudin's Weaver card, because I don't even know if Shanks has one for Luffy, right? But it could also be that with Elbaf just being in close proximity of Egghead, they just know how to get there. Like they don't need to, like they just, you know, it's just like they have the route memorized, I guess. But given that, you know, they haven't sailed for like 100 years, you know, they've been on Elbaf or on Little Garden for so long, and then they're on Elbaf for a little bit. I don't, you know, it does seem weird that they would like still have that route memorized if that was the case, because like Egghead wasn't important before, right? Like Vegapunk got there like 4 years ago. So that's kind of an interesting, that's just an interesting idea, you know? Nasty said newspaper was mentioned first page, but the newspaper said Luffy had control of the situation. It didn't say Luffy was in trouble, right? Like they came in like, we've come to pick up Straw Hat. It's an emergent, or they said, the other people said it's an emergency. We've come to pick up Straw Hat, or should we call him the Sun God? It's like, you know, if they obviously know Luffy's in danger, which wasn't communicated in the paper, but Shanks could have told him that. Like Shanks. You know, Shanks and Blackbeard are like the two people where like, if you said, oh, do they know this thing? I would just say yes. You know, I was like, they probably have everything figured out at this point. But yeah, the getting there part is interesting. They might need a Weaver card, because unless, well, they could just have a giant navigator on the ship that does know the route, because they've been sailing with the new giant pirates with Harudin for a while or something. Like they could just have someone guiding them. I don't know. It's just an interesting thing. I'm not sure. Lou, I have gone over the chapter already. Yes. Thank you for asking. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Who is Ray? I saw you just pulled up. I saw you in the Discord a good amount. It was funny. Who is Ray? You had something I wanted to reply to, but it was after I had already been lightly spoiled on something, not by you, but by someone else. And I was like, okay, I shouldn't get into One Piece discussions until I read the chapter. So what's up? I'm going to respond to you in the Discord. Something you said eventually. Derek Miles, what's Shanks going to do to Barto? He has a force field. It would be cool either way. Like whether Barto's barrier gets broken by Shanks or Shanks can't break through Barto's barrier, either one would be kind of hype, I think. Because like it would show how oh damn, Barto's barriers really are indestructible. Like that angle would be cool. Or if Shanks had to like go all out to break them and they did break, then it would be cool to be like, okay, well, if somebody wants to break them, they're gonna have to be as strong as Shanks, you know. And so either one of those I think could be really cool. So I hope we do see that eventually. Also, Moog, thank you for reminding me about your super chat. I did miss that one. I apologize very much. How did I was just probably wrapped up in something and totally missed it. My bad, man. Thank you for reminding me. Said Skypea, Dressrosa, Elbaf will be the Noland trilogy. Well, okay, okay, okay. I see where you're coming from. What are you mainly saying the Elbaf and Nolan thing because because the Usopp hype, or am I missing something? I mean, which I think that's a valid reason. That's enough of a reason for Nolan to be touched on in Elbaf, and like the potential Sky connections, because like that might be a route to the Sky or whatever. But is it beyond? Is there another thing that ties Nolan to Elbaf? Because I'm a big Nolan stan, so if there's something there other than Usopp, I would love to know. But I probably agree with you. Like, Nolan will make an appearance of some kind in Elbaf, I'm sure. Or like, be mentioned. Not he's dead, so it's not a real appearance. You know what I mean. Vex with the $5 super chat, my goat. They might not think Luffy's in danger. Elbaf might be in danger. This could be a plot hook that takes us to the next arc after the incident ends. That's a good point. That's a very good point. If they're coming here because they need his help in Elbaf, that would be really cool, Vex. I like that. Because like I was saying, it can't be that they... Well, it can, but it shouldn't be that they know Luffy's in danger. Like, Shanks would have to have inside info and to tell him. That's like the only way. So for it to be the reverse, where they're like, okay, well, we know Luffy's there. We're going to go get his ass because we need help right now. Like, maybe the Sun God's the only one who the Giants will... I don't want to say listen to, but can maybe quell the never-ending war that Elbaf is supposedly having. Or, like Dorian Broggie fought for 100 years. Elbaf probably has people fighting constantly, right? So maybe they need him for some reason. One of my theories for Elbaf is that the Atom Tree is going to fall. And like a big part of the arc will be that it's in danger and they'll try saving it, but eventually it will fall and it'll be a good thing in the end. But anyways, if you guys seen the video, you know most of it by now. So, tying to what you're saying, Vex, I mean, maybe it's literally that they're worried the Atom Tree is going to fall, and Shanks just left because Shanks had to go do something else. So maybe Dorian Broggie are like, well, Luffy's our next best guess, so we're going to go get him to help us out. Like, he's the only one who can save this thing and stop whatever. That would be kind of cool, because, like, what else in Elbaf could be happening that would be a risk? I mean... Because, like, well, that's another thing. If Shanks is there, Shanks would take care of it. So I think that if that is true, that would mean Shanks is definitely gone. Because, I mean, what if Blackbeard showed up after Shanks left and now he's like wreaking havoc? But then at that point, like, would two of their strongest combatants leave the island? You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't want to send Dorian Broggie to go get Luffy. You would keep them on the island to protect people and send weaker giants, right? I don't know. We might be. We, or me specifically, I might be thinking about this too deeply, but I like the idea that it ties to what's happening on Elbaf. I just like that. The segue to the next arc, I like that idea. I don't know how it would work, but... Vex, I was just going to say that. That's so crazy. I was literally just going to say that. Mana Crow's donation bar is like a quarter the way done, maybe a third the way done. What a goat. Like, Mana Crow made a statement and has been here, from day one. Like, anyone who's joined the chat has seen Mana Crow at the top this entire time. Mana, I seriously can't thank you enough again for that, by the way. Seriously, that definitely helps brighten the day. I mean, it doesn't take back the spoilers, but I mean, just you caring that much about the situation, man, and just donating, it's touching for real. Thank you so much. Mana Crow is just Mana Crow is just, I want to say like Wano Whoa, just starting with W's, but that's too hard to say. Mana Crow's name would just be all W's at this point anyway. So, Vex, you said, wait, Mana gifted 50 TLA memberships the other day? Mana, oh my god, is this a wait? Is that the Mana Crow alt? Wait. Wait, Mana, that's not the same Mana, that's a different Mana Crow, right? Wait. Hold on. That's funny. That's unironically so funny, Mana Crow. And what's crazy is Majin Crow over on OPU also has a bunch of alt accounts, and you both go by the Crow alias, although spelled differently. So I'm, I don't know. That's the plot thickens, as Vex says. I don't know. The multiple accounts throw me off. Mana Crow might just be the man marked by flames. That might be my theory going forward until proven otherwise. Excuse me. Friend Harper with the $5 super chat. What if the Atom Tree falls, but towards the red line, and they use that as a way to raid the Holy Land? Now that's pretty cool. Like, the tree is so tall that it acts as a way to like a, not a bridge, but like a staircase, I guess, to get up the red line. I like that. The only thing, though, is that Elbaf is going to be closer to the reverse mountain side of the red line. I think, yeah, it will be, because we're already most of the way through the new world. So it would be closer to that side, so it would like go to the top of reverse mountain. But here's why I still like it. So the Marijois part would be really cool, especially thinking about it from the angle of like the Atom Tree may already take people to Sky Islands that are on top. And Marijois is not a sky island, but is maybe as high up as a sky island, right? It's like 10,000 meters in the air. So it's like, it's similar in that regard. So for the tree to take us to like a different high up place would just be a really cool storyline. But maybe an even cooler thing is that it falls over. Okay, so like if you look at the map, there's no way up reverse. I don't think there's a way up reverse mountain from the New World side, right? Like you'd have to dip over. I'm gonna double check. I'm pretty sure that's how it is, right? Like there's an entrance from East Blue, but each Blue, but not the New World, right? I'm pretty sure that's how that works. And so maybe, yeah, that's correct. So then maybe the Atom Tree falls onto the red line, gives us our way to go down Reverse Mountain and see Laboon. Please, man. If this, I mean, we would be skipping over Lodestar at that point, but we kind of don't need to go to Lodestar. Like, I want to, and I expect we do, but we don't have to go there because we already know the information, like the 4 road poneglyphs. That's what Roger found out there. So maybe we do skip it and just go straight to Laboon. Like, it's very unlikely, but the peak. The level of peakness there would be insane. I would love that. It's not going to happen. I doubt it. But the idea itself is fire. I'm a big fan of that. Also, Mana, did you say that you reached the donation limit? Oh my! Wait, Mana Crow. So, wait, are you telling me that you got on an alt account to donate more? And you don't have to do it here. I actually don't even want you to do it here because you've done more than enough today. You know, save your money for yourself or other streams. But is the reason you got on an alt to donate more money to people? What? Mana Crow, what a goat. Mana Crow is literally the Dufeld, the crocodile of the One Piece community. That's amazing. I've never seen the daily limit reached. I didn't even know that was a thing. But it makes sense, honestly, because like just for the sheer chance that like a kid gets a hold of a parent's credit card or something like that, like it makes sense that there's a limit just to stop that. But wow, Mana goat, that major W, major. Ghost Train of Thought, I saw that super chat. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any others before I continue. Okay. Ghost Train of Thought with the $2.79 Canadian dollars. Uranus is the planet symbolizing Garden of Eden. So you're saying, so you think Uranus is literally, are you saying like Earth, like literally the entire thing? Which I'm not saying is wrong, because especially if you're looking at it from the standpoint of the ancient weapons having like 3 components, because like Shirahoshi was Poseidon, but there's the Sea Kings and the Noah, right? There's like a leader, a creature or something, and then like an inanimate object that's like a transportation element, like, you know, that kind of setup. So tying into that, Uranus could be the planet because it would be the Noah of Uranus, if that makes sense. Like the Uranus's version of the Noah is just the Earth. And you know, you think about how like the sky races came down from the moon to the Earth because of resources and like God of the sky and all that. And you know, we know the sky races talked about gods. It's like that element's there. I talked earlier about like the aircon being able to detect everything on the island. Well, what if Uranus is able to use the Earth's weather to detect everything on Earth, if that makes any kind of sense? And then that could lead into a bigger thing where like maybe Emu really wants Uranus, because then Emu could be like an L, but around the entire planet. Like an L, if Emu was able to detect where everything was, like an L did on Skypiea, Emu would be able to, you know, kill anyone they want. Like there would be no hiding. Like Sabo, they wouldn't have to even worry about where Sabo might be. Like they would just know. And so I kind of like that idea, Ghost. I don't know if that's what you were going for, but I unironically kind of like it. Because like the thing is like, you know, tying it to like Poseidon, you know, Poseidon is Shirahoshi, but there's two other important elements that tie to it. So I could see the Earth, like the Uranus would be VV or Isa, whoever is like the controller, but I could definitely see like the Earth being the Noah of it. And so there would be a creature element, probably what's from Roger's egg. So maybe VV or Isa or whoever controls that dragon thing, and that dragon thing is able to somehow do something with the Earth. Like I don't know if it can pull the Earth, you know, or change the weather on the Earth. That could just be it. Like the Earth has its own natural weather patterns, and maybe the dragon or whatever hatches out of Roger's egg, or just the egg itself, because like weather eggs are already a thing in One Piece. The eggs or whatever comes out of that egg could be what lets the weather be controlled manually on the Earth, which is like the spaceship in this regard, because like it's like even in real life, Earth is a spaceship. We're just floating on a giant rock in space together, right? So I like that. And then I still think there would need to be a controller. Like, you know, I think they're all going to be living and being able to make commands, but the Earth being the other part. I really like that, Ghost. I'm not gonna lie. I like that a lot. And here's something else I was thinking about too earlier today. And, you know, not that it has to work like this, but we know Luffy's the sun god, and there's 4 gods from Skypiea, right? The earth, forest, rain, and the sun god. Well, I was thinking, what if it's not necessarily that there's 4 god fruits, or that we're going to see other gods that have powers, you know, adjacent to Luffy, but like in different ways, like a rain related or whatever? What if it's this, that Luffy's the sun god, but then the ancient weapons are the other 3? And the reason I say that is if Uranus can control the weather in any way, shape, or form, being the god of the rain kind of makes sense. Pluton's the god of the underworld. I've talked about the mole theory and all that. God of the earth, that would make sense. Like the mole in Ukari Island was the boss of the earth, so like that kind of lines up. And then you think about the forest one, it's like, oh, well, the forest god can't be Shirahoshi, but Shirahoshi's like dream is to go see a real forest, like to go see the sun and see a real forest and all that stuff, right? Like Shirahoshi wants to take the fishmen to the surface. She has the goal of seeing a real forest and stuff, but like partially so all the fishmen can do that as well. And you need to have like Poseidon use the Noah to get those people to the surface. So it's kind of like, you know, Poseidon might just be the god of the forest then, by taking fishmen to see the forest, because fishmen are usually in water, and they have like the sea forest, but that's not exactly the same. So, you know, I kind of like that more than there being other god fruits, honestly, because then you have the angle where the sun god being Luffy, we already had the sovereign line, right? The 2 sovereigns or whatever. Then you have this setup where like Luffy is the sun god kind of leading the other ones, and like, you know, it's like because like the other 3 are the ancient weapons who've been waiting for the sun god to return, so they're all back together kind of thing. Like, so Luffy is an ancient weapon, sort of. I don't like putting it that way, but that's kind of what it would set up. I like that setup. Literally, I was like, I don't know if I was working out or walking my dogs or something, but it just randomly popped in my head while I was walking. I was like, wait. It was so like Uranus, weather, rain, forest. I was like, it was just like in 2 seconds it came to mind. So that might be a video. I'm not gonna lie. It might be a video. Yeah, and Ghost, I'm glad you said that. I meant to say that, and I was about to get off the train of thought, which that was not a pun based on your name, but so the Nefertari, so then going back to the Isa and Vivi talk earlier, so then what if the case is that there's the 3 ancient weapons and then 2 separate sovereigns on top, one being Luffy or the sun god, but then the other one being like Vivi, who's a adjacent thing who's leading them in a different way. Like, I say politically, but that's like a little weird in the god context, but yeah. And now, and so Kagar, so you said, but what about Chopper? So, you know, I would love for Chopper to be Forest God, and I think he maybe could be in a different way, but the ancient weapon thing, they're already named after gods, and, you know, I don't know, it fits really well. And I could just see, like, Vivi and Luffy are meant to help the 3 ancient weapons do the right thing and, like, lead them in a proper way. Like that, like them being the 2 sovereigns, that makes a lot of sense. Now, the one caveat is, like, the Sea King said that, and then the context that they said the 2 sovereigns, I think you could very easily take the one sovereign to be Shirahoshi, which, like, still would make sense in this context, because, like, from the Sea King's perspective, one of their sovereigns would have to be Shirahoshi, because, like, Poseidon commands the Sea Kings. But then for the other one to be Luffy, that could make sense. So it's like maybe Vivi isn't involved in that line, and Vivi would still be involved. So, you know, the context is important there, I guess. I could go back and forth on the sovereign thing, but regardless, I do like the god stuff. And I like the idea that, like you said earlier, like Uranus, I wouldn't say Uranus is the Earth, because usually Uranus is like the person that controls it. You know what I mean? Like it's a living thing. At least if we use Poseidon as an example. Not that we don't know anything about Uranus, so really who knows? But I love the Earth being the Noah of it. That might be my favorite idea. Zoro Senju said, I think Vivi will be the one to guide Pluton during the final war. If Momo does not control Pluton, then I'm with you. It's the only other answer other than Momo that makes sense is Vivi. And I would kind of like for Isa to control Uranus and Vivi to control Pluton, just so they're both involved, because I want both of them to be important. But the reason why Momo makes the most sense for Pluton, in my opinion, is if you're setting up an 800-year plan and you have this ancient weapon that's locked up under an island, and the way to free that weapon is by controlling this giant elephant thing, well, whoever controls the elephant better be able to control the actual weapon, because then it might just run free and wreak havoc on the world, right? Like it would be kind of weird to make the person who controls Zunisha and Pluton different because of the risk then. Like what if Momo didn't control Pluton and had Zunisha free Pluton without the controller being around? Pluton would just go crazy, right? Like, presumably. So it would make sense that, Momo could be like, Zunisha, free Pluton. Hey, Pluton, do that. It's like immediately I can just keep that command going over Pluton. So I think Momo makes the most sense. But with that being said, I could get behind the idea that Momo frees it and someone else has to be there to control it. And maybe that's why Momo didn't free Pluton yet. Like, Momo knew that someone else had to be there for it to work. I could see that. It wouldn't be as straightforward as the other option, but I could see that. And then it could be Vivi, and the reason why Vivi makes sense is the Pluton mole idea, right? If Pluton is a mole, those moles were found very close to Alabasta. That mole that was named the boss of the Earth dug to Alabasta and met Koza and a bunch of civilians in Alabasta, has a tunnel to Alabasta that people use now. So it would kind of make sense there, right? And the Pluton poneglyph, that should have been the first thing I said, and the mole stuff, because that's all I think about. So I don't know, there's definitely something there. I like it. ZMP323, one of the longtime goats of the community, you said chapter was incredible. F the people who spoiled you. I agree. 100 everything you said. Even though I got spoiled, I wish my reaction could have been more animated to match with the hypeness of it. It's just that. Well, and you know what that should tell you, though? It should tell you guys, and not that I think you guys were doubting this, but it should tell you guys that the reactions are very genuine. That they are not scripted. I do not, there's no planning behind them whatsoever. I get on and you get raw, One Piece enjoyment or disenjoyment, I guess, very occasionally. You know, so that if you ever needed proof, that was it. So yeah, but it is what it is. You know, I don't think you guys, the homies, I don't think any of you guys would do it, and that's really what matters. You know, it comes with the territory of being on YouTube a little bit. Muglaton with the £5 super chat. I think I might have said euros earlier, but I know it's pounds with your other, whatever, it's pounds. If the ancient weapons are people, who were the Pluton/Uranus from 800 years ago? I got Joy Boy equal Pluton and Lily equal Uranus, who Emu possessed with personality switch surgery. Well, I'm curious about the Lily. Like if Lily never died, like if Lily got controlled by Emu and is still alive today, would the Uranus thing ever pass on? I don't think any of us have that answer, but I think that's just a good question to ask, because that's one of my issues with Emu having anything to do with Uranus currently. Like, Mother Flame is very clearly emulating Uranus, and I think it's fair to read into that a little bit and say, like, oh, well, Emu may have used Uranus in the past or wants Uranus now. Maybe that's why they want Vivi now. But I feel like if Lily was Uranus back then and never died, like if Shirahoshi never died, I don't think there wouldn't be two Poseidons at once, I would imagine. So that's one of my issues with that. But then the Joy Boy Pluton thing, I actually get behind. I can, if it's not Joy Boy, then it would be like the Kazuki leader that was best friends with Joy Boy, because you think about Pluton's under Wano. We know the poneglyphs were made in Wano. Like, that alone is like, okay, the poneglyphs are so essential, and they were made in Wano, where Pluton is, like, probably underneath Wano, like under Mount Fuji, I would imagine. Because like the one panel we've seen is like them working in like a hot environment, so that might be near Pluton. So I can just get behind that on the premise that like Joy Boy was definitely in Wano a lot, and there was a lot of planning with Wano that is very important to what Joy Boy has done now. And so I get that one. And Joy Boy died, so it would make sense that Pluton then passed on to the future. So I get behind that one. If I had to pick a Uranus one, I think Uranus, it's a descendant of, or an ancestor of Enel. That's what I'm gonna say. Enel's great-great-great-grandpa. That's my answer. Like, because I bet you one of his ancestors were like the leader on Burka, like on the moon. Or at least the Burka, the island that they made whenever they came down to the Blue Sea, or the Earth, I guess. So I bet you one of Enel's ancestors was like the leader or whatever, and was also tied to Uranus. And, you know, tying back to the idea that like the Earth is Uranus, you know, the sky people came from Burka on the moon down to the sky, or I mean the White Sea on top of the Blue Sea, whatever. I could definitely see that like they, like, controlling the weather has been depicted as a high-tech thing, right? Like Vegapunk couldn't do it till after he left Baltimore and all that. So I could just see the high-tech Moon Kingdom having a means of controlling the weather and bringing that down to Earth. And so they've been tied to Uranus from the beginning. Like that kind of thing I could definitely see. I'm going to see what you said, though, Moog. I think you responded. So I reckon Uranus passed on when Vivi was born. That's why Emu wants Vivi so bad to personality switch again. Like, and you know, it's anyone's guess. It's not like we know this, but I would struggle to see a scenario where, like, Poseidon loses her powers, right? Like, I couldn't see Shirahoshi. If Shirahoshi stayed alive for 800 years, I can't see her just, like, the powers vanish, or that there's two, right? Like, that's my biggest problem. But I mean, it could just be that Lily was Uranus and Lily died, and, you know, that could just, because I think the Lily personality switch is a kind of a common thought. I've seen at least a few theories with it, but it could just be that Lily died in actuality, and so therefore, you know, the Uranus thing passed forward. I think that might be the easiest one. Ghost train of thought. You said Joy Boy was the Amatsuki daimyo, perhaps. So that's something that I really do want an answer to. The Amatsuki, or yeah, because that's Toki's, right? Yeah. I really want more information on that, because I was a big believer. I think it was Parvision who first said this, but I was a big believer in Ethan Baron v Nustro, or the Gandhi Gorosei guy at that point, being an Amatsuki member, because like he like left Wano, and maybe because like just by virtue of Toki leaving Wano, that's like, okay, the Amatsuki family did leave Wano. Maybe part of it is because that guy also did, and you know, we know he's probably as old as the Void Century, or it seems that way. So, you know, but obviously his name is Ethan Baron v Nustro. It's not Amatsuki anything, so he doesn't seem to be tied to them. So going back to the Joy Boy thing, is Joy Boy tied to them? You know, it's tough for me, because I think, because that would just mean that Joy Boy is a Wano citizen, or like from Wano, and at that point, my only issue with that is we already have a lot of important people from Wano. Like think about Zoro, right? Like Zoro, he's born in Shimotsuki Village, but Shimotsuki is one of the families from Wano. We know Ryuma, like he has a connection to him. Ryuma's from Wano. All those kind of things. Like it would be weird to then make Joy Boy, who Luffy connects to, born from Wano as well, right? It's like you're kind of like merging them at that point, and not that it's impossible, but I almost imagine Luffy more so keeping him separate in the way like how Luffy isn't born from Wano but befriended them and is very close with them and made it his territory and all that kind of stuff. I think Joy Boy did something similar to that, where like he started somewhere else, ended up befriending Wano because of his journeys, and by virtue of that was able to do everything he's done, like make the poneglyphs, put Pluton there, etc. Like it's not that he was from there, but he probably also had a crewmate from there, and that probably helped it. Or maybe it's a crewmate that, similar to Zoro, is from like a small group that left separately, and so I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of my thing. It's just like we're merging those people's stories. That's my only issue, I think. You said, Ghost, you said Amatsukis were another family that lives outside of Wano. Well, it kind of like we know Toki was outside of Wano, but like she's from Wano. Like I think that's fair. Like I guess we don't know everything about her, but like she was saying, like the first thing she said is I'm trying to go to Wano, and like my parents, I forget exactly the dialogue, but like my parents have always told me stories about it, like how great Wano is, and I need to go there, etc. So it's like, well, her parents were from there, like have been there. And so what that, and remember, Wano also wasn't closed before the Void Century. So I guess what I'm getting at is I think the Amatsukis were from Wano, but they were just gone when the Void Century happened, and so she was trying to get back because they got lost. If that makes sense. Like I don't think they like completely lived away from it. Not that we know for sure, but since we know her parents were there and talked glowingly about it, at least one generation ago, her parents were there. So so yeah, I'm leaning towards it not being the Amatsuki. I want Oars to be Joy Boy. That's my kind of agenda. I mean, it's that theory's, that's like one of Preach's flagship theories, or Wizard of Oars, I guess. They have different channels now, but we're on the same channel before. And that's one I really believe in. And that it's funny because like Oars is tied to Wano, at least in some way, because like, you know, the Moria thing, like going to Wano, getting Ryuma and Shusui and fighting Kaido and all that, and going to like the frozen continent, which we don't know is Wano for sure, but given that we've seen Ringo and that's where Ryuma presumably was, it's like, I'm sure it would make sense that Oars was found there too, not that it's necessary, but either way, there's just a connection already in the continent puller thing. People think like Oars may have pulled Wano together, which, now that we know how Wano's structured, I think there's a little bit of an issue with that theory now. But regardless, though, there's like a connection. So I could still see it. There's going to be a connection. I just don't think Joy Boy was born there is the main thing. But no doubt, they're going to be like family. You know, like they're going to be best friends. Probably one of his crewmates is from there, etc. But I doubt he's from there. Muglatan with the 5 pounds. You said V Nustro is Amatsuki. Gorosei changed names to disguise that they're the same kings from 800 years ago. Emu names don't change because he's hidden completely. I mean, I kind of like it because it's like they changed their names. It's like they would have changed their names to match, you know, they have like the theme with the planets, but the problem with the planet thing, I think, is, or like with that whole just situation is like, if we only knew their names as like Saint Venustro, Saint Mercury, Saint Saturn, and we didn't know their full names, I would probably agree with you. But it's like picking Ethan Barron, you know, that to me, that's a real one, you know, like because the planets I can get why, like, those are almost epithets to a degree, but the Ethan Barron is like random, you know, and so I would be cool with the idea that you're saying. The Ethan Barron, you know, that is. Why would someone from Wano with an Amatsuki name, which is so cool, you know, and no offense to Ethans, I'm just, you know, if you are from Wano and you're a samurai and you have a cool name like that, and then you go Ethan, I would want to know why. That's all. It's not that it's wrong. I would want to know why you chose Ethan, you know. It would. That's not a name I would imagine samurais, you know, get in Wano. Not that I would know, but Ro, you said, could the walls around Wano have been stretched up by Joy Boy? Yeah, definitely. I think that is. I wouldn't say that's for sure because, like, you know, there's a lot of devil fruits out there that can do stuff like that. But just think about the hype of Joy Boy being like, all right, it's time to protect this place, and just pulls it up, you know, like that. The hype level alone makes me want to see it happen, you know. Moog, you said, I suspect Jew Peter's a Don Quixote, maybe the one the dwarves talked about from 900 years ago. The thing with, well, maybe, but since we know there are other Don Quixote celestial dragons, like, if you're a Gorosei, and not that any of us have this answer, but I'll just ask it anyway. If you're a Gorosei and you have a kid, are they just like a regular ass celestial dragon, or are they like another level up from that? And on top of that, like, you think about Mjosgard, it's like the family has had. It's almost like the Don Quixotes. Even though Doflamingo's a bad guy, but compared to other celestial dragons, Don Quixotes are like a little more rebellious and like a, you know, acting out. And it's like people think, well, I'm just trying to think, how does the family work? That's the main thing. But the traitor part, how like they are kind of nice people, that could feed into the Jupiter traitor theories. I know a lot of people bring that up, and maybe that's why you're saying that, Moog, is that there's a tie in there. Like, he's also good. I mean, he's a bad guy, but better than the others, and so he's going to do something. I like that. But the fact that we have other Don Quixotes would almost have to mean that, like, his family is regular celestial dragons. I would think if Gorosei have kids, they're like, because they're the highest ranking celestial dragons, and I would imagine that if they have kids, they'd be higher ranking than normal ones, and Mjosgard is like getting put to death right now. I don't know. It's a weird. I like it. I like the idea. I'm not sure if I buy in, but I like the idea. It's not their real names. That would be cool. Let's see. You guys are funny in the chat. I don't know if I can say it, but you guys are funny. Some of the things y'all are talking about. Off Skyus, you said, I just read the chapter. OMG, that was amazing. So much going on and so much going to happen next chapter. Can't wait. Yeah, agreed. And I'm really glad that we have a break next week. Which, I mean, it's 3 chapters in a row, so that was to be expected. But I like that it's a break because there's like so much to talk about. Like, we're right at the point where, like, where a video on how Egghead is going to end would be perfect, because like we're right at like where it's like, okay, from here on we are seeing the climax of the arc. You know, like, this is, if all this isn't the climax, it's like the prequel to the climax. You know, we're right there. So I think this is like the perfect time for a video about just predictions for Egghead, and that's what the next video is. My next video is an Egghead prediction video where I'm going to go through all the things, pretty much everything. And this chapter did change a lot. Not a lot of my overall thoughts. Mainly, I'm a big believer that Vegapunk is gonna escape the island, and now that he's bleeding, I'm gonna have to talk about that. So that'll be an update I got to work on in the script. But the everything that Oda has set up right now, it's just like we just know like this isn't the exact same, but it's kind of similar to the Wano raid around the time that Zoro and Sanji teamed up to fight King and Queen around that time. Because once Zoro got out of the Zoro pack and, you know, they were facing King and Queen, which we kind of all knew, like, they were going to fight those two eventually because of, like, the number 1 and 2 versus the number 1 and 2 and stuff. Like, once we got to that section where it's, like, the main fights, the big climax, Luffy was fighting Kaido in Gear 4 and then lost and all that. Like, that was where we knew, okay, like, from here on, it's only peak and, like, nothing else for the rest of this, you know, the rest of the battle situation going on. And that, I think we're at the same point right now where it's like, you know, we still have to get a little bit of Kuma and Bonnie stuff, but they've fleshed out most of their stuff. We got Luffy's back in action. We got the Giants here. We got Vegapunk just got hurt. You know, we got a little bit of the resolution with the hierarchy command stuff. Like, everything from here on out is going to be just absolutely peak from here. Like, not that Egghead hasn't been all, you know, the entire time, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. This is a whole other. I'm pumped. I'm honestly pumped to do that prediction video. I'm gonna be grinding all weekend to get that done, but still. Ramon, peak the raid will fail 2 time. Yep. I mean, do you guys think that, I mean, is the raid gonna fail? The government's raid? You know, I think that's honestly a valid question. You know, I guess it depends which, and that's part of what I'm gonna be talking about in my video too, but it's like, it depends what you mean by fail, I think. Because, like, you know, for Wano, it's like, is the raid gonna fail? That's all about, is Kaido gonna lose, right? But this one, it's like, does the government fail if they kill Vegapunk and get the power source? That's a decent W. You know, is it? I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting dilemma. Doron, you said, we still haven't seen what's going on with Zoro. Yeah. Going back to what Trevor was talking about earlier, like, Oda has off-screened a lot of stuff in this arc, and for the Zoro versus Lucci fight for us to hear that it's still happening, but to not see it, like, we've seen like 3 or 4 total panels, I think, of that fight to this point. It's like, you know, why are we even doing it? Oda's just keeping him busy for, like, no reason. It's what it seems like. Nomad, you said, Dak, maybe we're not going to Elbath. If Dory and Broker are here, they can explain it to them, so we might skip Elbath. I will be so shocked if we skip Elbath. Like, that would be one of the most shocking things to me to ever happen in One Piece. I can see a world where we don't go to Elbath next. You know what I mean? Like, maybe we have to make a pit stop somewhere, or we get lost in a storm or something random, you know, like with the swirling eddy thing, like everything got all like, you know, the weather got real bad all of a sudden, the next thing we know, we're in the arms of a robot. Like, I could see something random happening where we don't go to Elbath next, but skipping Elbath entirely, that would be so hard, especially because I get what you mean, because Dory and Brogy are there, right? Because, like, they could tell them stuff, but it's, I mean, for Oda to have people tell us things from Elbath and not see it, like, I can't even, I don't think I could, I don't think I could see it. Now, I've seen a couple theories talking about that, so you're not alone, Nomad. But I would be surprised. I'm more of the mind that Dory and Brogy are here because we are going to Elbath and they're gonna die here, and Oda realized, like, I might not have enough time to give Dory and Brogy the shine they deserve, so instead of trying to force that shine in Elbath, I'll give them shine in Egghead where they don't make it back to Elbath. Which, like, I feel bad even bringing it up, but I see the Dorian Broggie death flags. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if anyone else sees them, but Ro, you said Elbaf needed for an L to return on the Atom Tree. Yes, please, please, and maybe even to try taking down the Atom Tree. I would like, because remember, he's made a career on destroying Sky Islands, right? So if the Atom Tree has Sky Islands on the top, he might be like, it's time for these things to go. Let me knock down this tree so all the islands fall too, because the tree's probably supporting him, as opposed to like normal Sky Islands, I would imagine. I mean, and that's another interesting idea for you guys. Is it, and I don't want the One Piece definition, I want your guys' opinion. Is it a Sky Island if you're just as high as a normal Sky Island, but you're held up by a tree branch? You know what I mean? Is that still it? Because you're an island in the sky, but you're not floating on a cloud like the other ones with Pyrobloin. Do you guys still consider that a Sky Island? Because I would say yes, but I don't know. Because if so, like I was saying, like an L would probably see those and be like, we're bringing those down. Tree, knock that tree down. Those islands are done. But I could also maybe see the other side where they're like not true Sky Islands and he doesn't care as much. Like they're not God's land, or you know what I mean? But to another degree, if you had Atom Tree branches holding up an island, that would be almost like Verth is holding you up. Like that, because like that was a big deal in Skype. It was like the Verth was in the sky, right? The actual land, like the dirt and stuff was in the sky. And if you have a tree branch holding you up, it's not quite the same as like, you know, dirt. Like it's not soil, you're not planting stuff, but it is a plant itself. Like it's Verth in the sense of it's growing from the ground. So that could be a kind of a cool connection there. You know? I wonder how that's going to go. Doron, you said maybe Zoro and Lucci will see the Blackbeard pirates. I like that, Doron. That would be a cool way to make that fight matter. Like they're fighting and maybe Zoro like launches Lucci into a room and then Devin and Lafitte are just like having tea, like waiting. That would honestly be kind of cool. I like that. I like that a lot, Doron. That's smart. One Piece and Chill, you said gotta go, but I emailed your business email, didn't know how else to personally reach you. Oh, that's the perfect. That's fine. Discord's the best way, but that is the second best. It's almost just as good. So, perfect, One Piece. Thank you very much. I already told one of my buddies that that he and I are gonna go out to eat soon, and he wanted to know where, and I was like, dude, I can't remember the name. So, so thank you. I appreciate it. Well, all right, guys. I think it's about time to wrap up the stream. How long did we go? Over 2 hours? Wow. In my head, before I started the stream, I was like, man, I'm going to be in a somber mood, and it's probably going to be a short stream because I'm not going to, want to talk very much because I got spoiled, and it was the exact opposite. You guys were awesome, as always, as you guys always are. I know, again, I know none of you regulars are going to be spoiling me or trying to, but... So thank you guys, though. Thank you for being here. It means a lot. Sorry if I brought the mood down, but it won't happen again, because I'm just going to start... The second I hear spoilers are out from now on, I am literally blocking all notifications that are not text messages and phone calls from my phone. I'm going to be... I don't even know. I'm going to put some other security measures. Now that it's happened, I was kind of waiting to get spoiled once. Now that it's happened, I'm going to make it not happen again because I just don't like being... I like being positive. That's the whole thing on the channel. You know what I mean? Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I already said that once. I say the word appreciate like 600 times a stream. So, yeah, I guess update real quick on the Redacted channel. I know I'm a broken record, but I literally guaranteed I will have a review out for this one. It might be start of the week. It might be a little late, but I'm just getting used to the on-camera stuff. So that will be out because I have a whole week to do it, and I'm not pressured to hurry up. Egghead prediction video next week. I'll probably have a stream next week as well. Hopefully a collab with another creator. Don't know who yet. Don't have that planned, but want to get someone on and talk about everything that's happening. And I think that's it. I think that's it for now. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Hope you all have an awesome weekend. And yeah, join the Discord because I'll be in there talking about